All right, trustees, it is 3:30, and therefore I am going to call this meeting to order. Before we begin, I would like to acknowledge that we are privileged to meet on the Stalo unceded traditional territory of Chilliwack, Samath, and Palalt. Given the announcement last week of 158 children confirmed to have died as a result of being in residential schools in this territory, I just want to acknowledge the pain being suffered in this community right now and commit that the board is committed to the continued work of reconciliation. The board also acknowledges the marginalization that many members of our community have experienced, whether as a result of race, sexual orientation, and gender identity, or other personal circumstances. The board is committed to providing a working and learning environment that recognizes the inherent dignity of all persons, that is inclusive of all, and that treats everyone with respect. Okay, trustees, can I get a motion to approve the agenda, please? Sorry, just 1 second. I'm not seeing you all. There we go. Can I get a sorry, can I get a motion to approve the agenda? I can't see anybody, Rohan, because you just
So moved.
Sorry, moved by trustee Swanky. Do I have a seconder? Trustee Reed, seconds. All those in favor of the agenda as circulated? Opposed? Thank you, trustees. Okay, so we have one and only one item on the agenda, which is action item 2.1, annual 5-year capital plan, school food infrastructure plan for 24-2025. Secretary Treasurer.
Thank you, Trustee Rochelle. So you're probably all wondering, why are we coming back to the annual 5-year capital plan again? It does seem like we keep doing it, but if you look at the, if you can scroll down to the bottom of this, I'm just going to very quickly recap. We submitted for major programs in June, and an initial 2023-24 submission for school infrastructure program at that time. We came back at the last board meeting and did minor capital programs. So you can see that, which we added some buses to in that version. And then just last, and I had intended, because we hadn't actually received back our June submission for school infrastructure for 23-24, I'd intended just to resubmit that because I hadn't heard back. But we heard back last Friday or the Friday before, which means, and we're very grateful that we got 2 items on that plan accepted. 3 weren't, and I added 1 more to that 3, and you can see those 4 our 24-25 request. So I'm bringing this to you today between board meetings because we didn't know about it at the time of the last board meeting, and we need to submit it by Monday. But it's basically some assets that will help us deliver on the school food program that we've been asked to offer by the province.
Thank you, Secretary Treasurer. Does anyone have any questions before we put the motion on the floor? And
just a reminder that the motion is different than the recommendation.
Pardon me?
If somebody is going to read off the motion, it's different than the recommendation on the front page. You've got to scroll to the very back of the packet for the resolution.
Okay. So can someone put up their hand who wants to make the motion, and then perhaps it can be put on the screen for someone to read out for me? That would be great. Sorry. Trustees, can someone raise their hand and offer to make the motion for me? Trustee Moz, thank you.
I'll make the motion. So this is it right here. This is the motion. I did have some questions, but that's fine. We can deal with them after. That's fine. So
Rohan, it's at the back of the packet. There we go. That's it.
Okay. So this is the motion?
Yep.
Okay. In accordance with provisions under section 142 brackets 4 of the School Act, the Board of Education of School District number 33, Chilliwack, hereby approves the proposed 5-year capital plan, minor capital programs for 24-25 as provided on the 5-year capital plan summary for 24-25 submitted to the Ministry of Education and Child Care.
Thank you, trustees. Do I have a seconder? Can you use your digital hand to second, please? Or trustee Westerby, thank you. Okay, do we have any questions or comments before we vote, trustees? You can just use your regular hand because I can see you all now. Trustee Moss.
Thank you. So for clarification, so we're looking for funds, as you've put on the wish list, for the ability to make the food and hold on to the food and provide the food for these programs that the ministry is providing us money for to provide for the kids. Is that how this is all working?
Yeah, so we're getting operating funds, you know, that will help us pay for the food, pay for services, pay for delivery, but we need some infrastructure. 2 of our high schools are actually going to be preparing food and offering it to students, and we needed some what they call kettles, you know, just big cooking equipment for them. And then, of course, we needed places to keep the food warm in other places.
Okay. And if I can just continue, so this will be this will be done by Bowls of Hope. That are
Bowls of Hope is providing most of our schools with food for lunch, but they are not. We're going to be offering food within 2 of our high schools outside of Bowls of Hope. They will actually be making food, and potentially maybe ramping up later and doing other schools. We don't know. But we also will need to provide breakfasts. So that's just another element that we're sort of contemplating how we're going to do it.
Okay. And so that's what this is for. This is for all the extras that are needed for the additional. Okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Trustee Prose.
Yeah, just to, you kind of, I think you might have alluded to it. Now, does that include all the schools? So will this food be made in certain schools and then distributed to other schools?
Yeah, so what we're hoping is that Bowls of Hope will provide the food for most schools, and that the 2 high schools will at least serve themselves, and maybe, you know, that will expand over time. So we definitely need equipment at the 2 high schools that are making their own food, and we really need some ways of keeping food warm or warming it back up at the schools that are receiving food from Bowls of Hope.
So will Bowls of Hope, will they be participating with this money that the capital costs? Will they be getting any of that, or is that strictly a separate line?
Yeah, it has to. Capital items have to be purchased, owned, and maintained by a school district. So in the last round of funding, we actually asked for a truck because Bowls of Hope doesn't have enough capacity to deliver to all of our schools. They haven't been doing that. And we actually got the truck. So we will have a driver for that particular truck. We will own it. We will maintain it.
And the final question, is there any cost to students or parents for this?
At the moment, we're focusing the program at the most needy students, targeting those students. So no, there will be no cost for those students. I do know that other school districts around the province actually have programs that are offered more broadly and that, you know, parents with means can buy into. We haven't got to a point where we can do that yet.
Thank you.
Trustee Westerby.
Thanks. You had said something about 2 being approved and 4 being moved. I'm just wondering if you could clarify what you meant by that. I kind of was having a hard time following online.
Yeah. So, you know, the basic premise is the board has approved a couple of different rounds of requests to the ministry for capital funding, right? And in our June batch, we included some requests for the 23-24 year for food improvement program. And that had 5 items on it, one of which was the truck. So the truck and one other thing were approved, but 3 things weren't. And I put exactly the top 3 on this list are those 3. Yeah.
Trustee Moss?
Well, I just want to say thank you, because this is the underneath work. It's like, oh, we got money for food, great, but okay, let's get to the logistics of it. Do you have a pot? So yeah, thank you for looking after this and all your due diligence. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Okay, trustees, I'm not seeing anyone else with their hand up. So all those in favor? Sorry. You shut it off on me, Ron. It's okay, I've got it in front of me. All those in favor that the Board of Education approve the proposed 5-year capital plan minor capital programs for 2024-2025 as provided in the plan summary as presented. All those in favor? Opposed? That's unanimous and approved. Thank you so much, trustees. That is the only item on our agenda. If any member of the public, I suppose, wants to ask a question regarding this item on the agenda, they could at this time via the participation function. We'll give you 2 minutes to type in a question if you need to, and if not, you can send a message to the board, which once again, the board email address is board@sd33.bc.ca, and we will respond to you at that point. All right, there's just one message saying just a thank you for getting this started. Excited to see it expand. And that's from Katie Bartel, who is the DPAC chair. Thanks, Katie. And not seeing anything else. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you so much, trustees. And there's another link for you for our other thing. All right, so see you in 2 minutes.